Alright guys, what's going on? And Raphael, what is up with you?
Just being so dark. Yeah. Sky's orange, my beard are growing.
Alright. So, what's going on? We're going to be talking about the Ninja Turtles 90-minute special, which is Raphael Mutant Apocalypse. Now, something really important about this special is actually comprised with 3 episodes, which is actually really cool because if you guys seen my soggy reviews, one thing I kept complaining was that, you know, they showed us the 3 parts in 3 separate days, and this one they showed us all 3 parts in one compact uninterrupted viewing, which was really cool.
What a day.
This was actually intended to be the series finale, as this was the last episode that the Ninja Turtle team they produced. However, according to the official Ninja Turtles Twitter and the way Nickelodeon's scheduling, this is not the series finale. They chose to air this one up earlier, and then we had some delays on some other ones, and I'll get into all of that. But basically, this episode is very stark different from every other Ninja Turtles adventure that we've had, from this series. In fact, 5 years ago, yes, it's been 5 years. I never imagined that this series would go in this direction, especially the beginning. It was very light, very comical, very kid-friendly, and this episode is the complete opposite of it. Raphael?
Can you keep the mirror for me? My beard should look so cool.
So, let's go ahead and talk about Raphael's beard here. So, when the episode opens, we see Raphael. He's driving the Shell Razor. One of the first things he says is that
Not a single human is left. Only the mutants.
world, and that all the humans are gone. Here's where it gets really grim. As soon as he mentions that, we see a broken black fan. And if you guys have been watching the series, you know that belongs to April. And that was a very grim thing in there. Just to have that notion that April is gone. In fact, later on we actually see Casey Jones's skull, and it's not they don't actually go and say it's Casey Jones, but the fact that we see the hockey mask, we even see the bandana on the skull. I mean, it's screaming out that this is Casey Jones. It's oh gosh. So, but like I said, there's no humans in the world now, and in fact, this takes place in a far distant future, and we see that Raphael, he has a beard. Now, alright, turtles are actually reptiles, and not mammals. Mammals are the only animals, like us, we're mammals, that's why we can grow hair. Reptiles cannot. I know it's, a fictional thing. Turtles don't really mutate into ninjas, and we don't act so that is kind of an impossible thing. But oh, come on, turtles shouldn't have hair.
Yeah, you're a survivor. I like that.
But Raphael does get a beard. It's very, very grim in there, and so at the beginning we only see Raphael, and we also see Donatello, but Donatello is not him. He's actually now inside a robot body, which they call a Metalhead Mark II.
My body was destroyed, but I was cybernetically wired to Metalhead Mark II, a robot I designed.
And they call it Donatello.
Okay. So Donatello is a robot, and this is actually very reminiscent of the IDW comics when they actually did the whole part where where Donatello was inside Metalhead's body, and like as like, you know, things were really dark for him. You know, that was actually when a lot of people started reading the IDW comics. To be honest, what's this?
This is day.need.
That
You're cool.
that's not Donatello.
Are you crazy?
Thanks, bro, to be with me, to stay with me.
Oh gosh. So in this episode, like, you know, it is very Mad Max inspired. We see that the world's a wasteland.
Nowhere. We hunt. Look for food. Fuel.
And that, like, I mean, there's no that everything is like brown and sand, and that we see like, you know, the turtles design like Raphael, Donatello, and when we get to the second episode, we actually see Michelangelo. They all look vastly different. In fact, I'm pretty sure right now there's no toys for these figures. I'm pretty sure that there's probably no plans to have toys for these figures, as it is very grim looking, that probably kids are probably not going to want to buy toy versions of these characters. But these are actually really nice designs. I actually really like the design of Donatello, and especially the way he almost kind of has like these rabbit ears like things going on top of his head. It is really reminiscent of like what the comics actually tried to do when he was in Metalhead's body, which worked out really good. And then, like, when you see the fight scenes with him, it actually works out really cool as well. Here in this episode, like we see that these are like brand new backgrounds, brand new areas, just things that, like, you know, especially for something that's like the final episode, like, we're seeing this whole new environment, new models, which is actually really cool that they brought this out, and they didn't try to go like for something. They didn't try to cheat over there. Now, I will say, like, the backgrounds and everything's very plain looking. You know, everything's kind of like orange and barren, while we have like the designs of, like, you know, we have the turtles, we have the enemies, like one side of the enemies is the Ravagers, who are like honey badgers. Then we have the Reptilicons, or something in that name kind of thing, but they're like iguanas and lizards, and they all look really nice. Like, you know, Verminous Rex, he has a chainsaw for a hand, and then, like, we also get some like really cool looking Mad Max inspired vehicles. Like, we get this really big 18-wheeler like train that's going after the Shell Razor. In fact, the Shell Razor has a 2, meaning that's probably like you know, Shell Razor Mark II for that. I mean, we even have a Wienermobile with like these huge monster truck wheels going. Not only we have all that, we have the typical apocalypse settings that we've seen in countless other apocalypse settings for other media, which, like, you know, their food, very disgusting. Like, really disgusting. Like, in fact, Raphael, Raphael, what are you doing?
It's spider and cockroach snack.
That's gross, Raphael. What are you doing?
Here you go, Donatello.
We don't eat bugs! So, like, you know, we see Raphael, he's actually eating cockroaches. We see at one point, like, when we see the pizzas, they are the grossest green algae-like pizzas. Oh, gosh. And they're... It is, like, you know, it's just to show that, like, nothing's really survived. Unfortunately, no Twinkies, because I was told that when the apocalypse happens, that we'll have Twinkies. Not see Twinkies in this episode. Mr. Charles, are you trying to tell us something? Is Hostess going to go out of business again? Don't be ruining this for us Ninja Turtles! So, as the events happen in this episode, like, we actually get introduced to a new character. Her name is Mira, and she is designed to actually, like, kind of move the plot, as we find out that she has a map tattooed on her forearm, which is leading to Oasis, and that's like where Raphael actually wants to end up going because that's where he feels that that's where paradise is at, as like they reveal that that's where things are going to be green and everything. And as we see, like everything around here is very wasteland, a lot of sand. That's like their ultimate goal, and this is why actually the other two warring mutants, in fact, like we don't get mentions or see any other mutants other than these honey badgers and lizard kind of things. There could be more. We just don't actually see them. But they're actually after her, as well as they also like want to go into this land as well. Well, maybe it's not really made that clear, but they are after the map. Well, also another little cool concept is what they do is that Raphael's memory is actually gone. He doesn't remember what exactly happens, and actually that gives us a good thing as like. So, like, we kind of jump into this from the beginning, not knowing what happens, and we are in this view, like, for how Raphael is viewing it, which is actually really cool for us as the viewers, as we're kind of, like, lost and confused, like, like, the first thing is that we don't know the fate of both Michelangelo and Leonardo. At that second episode, they actually find Michelangelo, and he also has a big radical design change as well.
Heavy metal high 3. Ouch. He
also has hair. Again, reptiles can't grow hair. Go pick up a science book. It's true. But we see that like now. I'll say Greg Sipes' voice direction as Michelangelo. I almost didn't think that was him. It does not sound like him at all. Like Greg Sipes, mainly because I know him from like this series and Teen Titans. He's always sounded the same for me, and like when he is actually talking as Michelangelo, he's just this very solemn, very like down to earth tone, and it really shocked me. I didn't know his vocal range can actually go there, and big props to him for doing that. And like like I said, like go see like interviews, like look up like some videos. He even has like a Facebook Live series where he's actually with like a big mascot like Michelangelo. I mean, he acts like Michelangelo. I mean, he talks like Michelangelo.
I am the Holy Chalupa. Or just Mikey.
Beast Boy. And so I was like really shocked to hear him like just talk like this. And not only we see Michelangelo, we also see Chompy. Chompy grows really big, it's supposed to be like how he does, like as Toka was huge, and that was his mom. And we also see Ice Cream Kitty, which is actually really nice. And I will say like Ice Cream Kitty behind like a Gatling gun, just awesome. Like it was actually like really cool seeing that. Also over here with this whole like Mad Max setting, kind of mood and everything, we also get a different kind of background music to go with this episode, as it is kind of like this hard rock alternative kind of vibe to it. And there's actually at one point in the first episode where the music starts playing, and it actually plays the Ninja Turtle theme, very similar to what they did with the Usagi trilogy. It actually comes out really cool sounding, and it fit with the action really well. And as well as the action, like when you see something that looks like Mad Max, you're gonna have to expect things like Mad Max, as like there are just car chases, like insane, huge, like 18-wheeler monster truck kind of chases, as like they kind of battle it through there. There's also a Thunderdome like setting, which I was actually really surprised when we see like everyone in the cages and everything as Raphael's about to fight. I'm surprised we didn't hear 2 men enter, 1 man leave. I was actually really expecting that, and surprisingly, the episode did not actually give us that. Now, also I am gonna say, as Raphael's design is actually really cool here. He had he starts out with the beard. He has this kind of gritty look to him. Even Sean Astin's voice matches his new look, as his kind of stocky and bigger.
Oasis? Dreamlock kid.
You're wrong.
And everything. And then we get to and instead of a bandana, he kind of almost has this helmet kind of bandana kind of thing going on. It's also red because it's Raphael. In fact, Donatello, when he's in the robot body, even though he's not a mutant turtle with a bandana anymore, but we see that the lights on him is purple and everything. By the end of the first episode, Raphael, he decides to shave. For some reason he does. But when he does, he actually looks a lot like the Michael Bay Raphael Ninja Turtle, which it really does fit with this. And if you're wondering why back here we have the Michael Bay Ninja Turtle action figures, that is why, because this is the closest we can get to wasteland inhabitant turtles for toys. Because like I said, I'm pretty sure they're not going to sell these toys ever. Now, if I will say one complaint I kind of do have with this. So by the third episode, we actually get introduced to the big villain of this 3-episode arc, which his name is Maximus Comp. Now, when he starts talking, it's kind of hard to understand what he says, as there's either there's filters or the fact that he's wearing a mask. I'm wondering if the voice actor just put a bucket over his head and just talked through it. You can pick up what he's saying, but you really gotta kind of pay attention, as things are just it's not very clear on the things he's saying. Now, I am gonna say this, you guys for you people who've already seen the episode, you guys know why they did this. But if you could, for you who haven't, just be aware. But it does get revealed why they do it, and it is a pretty clever, I will say, is a pretty clever way they do it. It's just that it was kind of it was just kind of hard just to understand right away. For you guys who have not seen the episode yet, and just and you guys are curious, when they do get to a point towards the end where they reveal what actually happened in the world, and they actually reveal the fate of Leonardo, that no part that actually gets forgotten. In fact, I will say this about the episode. What I like is at the end, they don't try to cheapen it out. It's not all of a sudden Raphael wakes up and, oh, this was all a dream, or something ridiculous Renette comes in and she says, oh, okay, time to get you guys back to the present. It's a story. The story has an end that fits this story, and they don't actually try to cheapen the ending, which I really like. In fact, the very final scene is actually a very bittersweet scene that I really like, that really fits for the end of the series. And I kind of shed a little tear because mainly because I knew that this was their final little thing that they put, and they wanted to say goodbye to the fans, and it was a really sweet thing. And in fact, right after that, they actually show a Mirage 2012 turtle, which is definitely Leonardo because he has the double like belt over here, and he's holding up a sign that says for Kevin and Peter. And if you guys don't get that reference, it is a reference. It's just saying, you know, like a thank you note for Kevin Eastman and Peter Layard, just to thank them for creating who were the original creators for the series. Now, I will say for this thing, you can look at it so many different ways. You can see it as like this is the fate of the Turtles, and that this is how it ends. As I said, this is supposed to be the final episode. Or you can see it as a separate storyline, which I actually was expecting more of these kind of stories for when they announced the whole Tales of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was hoping for more stories like this, kind of like if you guys actually read the Tales series, the comic book series, they just took the Turtles into these different stories that had no correlation of each other from other issues. And that's what I was actually I was hoping for more of, like these kind of stories for Ninja Turtles, where like they don't reference each other, and it's kind of like, all right, we go to the next one that has nothing to do with what we just saw last time. So you can take it as you want. I mean, you know, it's in fact at one point the Turtles, they see the last episode of Space Heroes, and it's a very similar fate. How they are as, like, you know, we see like the characters in that show have like met their doom, and like Raphael gets upset about it, and Donatello, he says something that I really felt the showrunners were probably trying to want to say to the audience. Is probably like he says that it's just a cartoon, don't take it seriously, and that's exactly how I felt this episode was supposed to be. And like, you know, so, and now since I'm selfish, I'm saying that I don't want this to actually be the fate of our Turtles and everything. So I'm looking at it like this. Now, here's my theory, and you guys can go. You guys can make other theories out there, but my theory is that these are not our Turtles. Like, if you guys remember, in season 4, when the Turtles they go back in time to save Splinter, and then they have that whole mess where, oh no, we have 2 different sets of Turtles, and so what ends up happening is like the Turtles from like the alternate timeline, they end up going to the spaceship with Fugitoid. Now, if you guys remember, Casey and April were also part of that timeline. So, I'm just being selfish, and I'm just going to say that, you know what, this is not even planet Earth. I'm saying that this is those Turtles' fates. And that our heroes, the one that we watched for the past 5 years, we got to season 5 with and everything, their future is going to be nice and bright, and New York and the world is not going to look like this almost dead wasteland. That's just me. That's just being selfish. But you guys are more than welcome to interpret it any way you want, as like, you know what, at the same time, this is just a fictional story, and like, you know, it's meant for entertainment. And I will say, this was actually a really cool episode. It took our heroes into a very different way. I actually really liked how it was grounded. That like the past like Turtle episodes, you know, we've had like just a lot of silliness. We do get some like one-liners here and there. In fact, like the only time where we actually get like some creative like backgrounds or just creative like imagery is actually when Michelangelo starts talking. But other than that, like, it's more of like just this grounded fighting. We don't see Raphael's head get big, or like the little anime kind of like you know, that little line thing, the little like tic-tac-toe line that, like, you know, in anime they get all mad and their head gets big, and then we see that little thing right there, and I think it's supposed to represent wrinkles. You guys know what I'm talking about! We don't see any of that. We just see everything just kind of real, just kind of raw. And it's actually really cool. And it really fits for this story. And this story only lasts here, and it's encompassed here. And that's what. What'd you think about it, Hobo Raphael?
I think it's one of the most artistic episodes, but I don't know why they're telling that eating any cockroach.
Because this is
He can't survive like that. You have to eat, brother.
You know, Raphael, it's like daylight outside, right? Like, you know that this isn't happening to us. You know what, hold on. Let me just, so you can see.
Oh, outside is light. So my brother's probably outside. Have to go fight them.
They're probably in downstairs playing video games like they normally do. Alright, let me know down in the comments below what you guys actually think about this episode. Let me know, what are your theories on, do you think this is our fate of our heroes in a half shell? Do you think, this is just some story that has nothing to do with them, or maybe this is just the alternate reality, and that our turtles are probably safe. I want to hear from you guys. All right, till next time, guys. All right, see ya.
What is this? What is this? If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And what is this? If you like this Donatello, put a like in this video. If you don't like this Donatello, subscribe to this channel. What is this? Why you look like it? Why? I am Donatello or he is Donatello? Am I a robot? Or